Here at Ultimate Reloader, we love to try new powders. The latest powder we've tried is WinClean 244 from Winchester. This is a great general purpose pistol powder and it has a copper fouling reduction agent built in. In this video, I'll share multiple shooting experiences with multiple handgun cartridges and also do a detailed breakdown and comparison so that you can know if WinClean 244 is the right powder for you. Hey guys, Gavin Gear here from UltimateReloader.com. That's right, we just got our WinClean 244 and we've already featured it in one story. I'll talk about that in just a moment. We did this full Pro Checker assembly and we loaded some 38 special ammo. We've also done other shooting with it. Before we get into any of that, let me talk about this WinClean 244 powder and kind of what it's all about. So it's a ball powder, and ball powders are great for pistol cartridges because they meter very consistently. That means once you get your powder charge dialed in, you're going to get very consistent drops from drop to drop. Why is that so important for pistol cartridges, pistol ammunition? Well, when you're dealing with a charge weight as little as 4.2 grains, something like that, a little bit of a variation, 0.5 grain or something like that, is a very significant percentage of the powder charge. That's going to give you wild fluctuations in velocity and could even potentially be unsafe. So ball powders are always a great way to go. And if you're loading on a progressive, you're not going to have a trickler, you're not going to have a precision scale. It's just kind of a throw and go kind of situation. So again, ball powders are my preferred powder for pistol ammunition loading. This powder is ideal for medium handgun loads, right? So that's going to include 38 special, 45 auto, 9mm, and many, many, many more. The burn rate is pretty close to 231. We'll break that down in more detail. That's a powder that we've used quite a bit here at Ultimate Reloader. It has low flash characteristics, which means it might be good for self-defense situations or if you're shooting in low light conditions and don't want to have your vision temporarily obscured. And then the WinClean additive is a copper fouling reduction agent, and that just means that it's going to keep that copper fouling in check. So I mentioned our first experience with WinClean 244 was with this Pro Checker 7. We got the press out of the box, we set it up, we set up dies, we dialed in a load and did a little bit of revolver shooting. So if you're curious about die setups for revolver cartridges and you want to see the results that we got there, I would suggest checking out that video. Okay, and that load was, again, it's a 38 special load from the Hodgson's website, but I happened to substitute 357 Magnum brass. And so the starting charge weight there is 4.4, the max charge weight is 5.2. We kind of did a somewhere in the middle kind of load, and that was very, very pleasurable to shoot and very good recoil characteristics. It shot well on target, just a good overall fun load. But after that, I thought I would take 9mm and move up to a max load to see what kind of performance we could get, not only from a handgun, but also from a shorter barreled AR-15 PCC. And so for that, we're using 4.5 grains of WinClean 244 behind a Barry's 124 grain hollow base round nose bullets. These are great performing bullets. We've used them in a ton of different loads. So the first thing I did was to shoot my Beretta 92 FS, and we got some chronograph data. So we had an average of 1101.8 feet per second from that particular load for 5 shots. And the SD was just 11 feet per second. That's the kind of performance that I'd be happy with out of a bolt gun. So for that Beretta 92 FS, that's a load that I would just absolutely run with. It burned clean, it didn't smoke, it just was a really good shooting load. Then I decided, well, what if we put this in our CMMG Banshee, and I ran it suppressed and we threw a red dot on. That was really, really fun to shoot as well. That came in a little higher at 1252.7 feet per second average. So we're supersonic in this particular case. And the SD opened up a little bit to 18.4. So if I was just going to shoot WinClean 244 behind these Barry's 124 HBRNs in the Banshee, I would look at taking that charge weight down just a little bit so that we could get closer to that 1100 or 1050 foot per second range, specifically because we're suppressed. And it'd be nice to get that down into the subsonic, section of velocity. So a reduced load would be something to look at, and it'd be really interesting to see what happened with the SDs, looking at different loads, and possibly do a full workup on that. But if you're going to shoot subsonic, 9mm is a great choice for either PCCs or for handguns. So let's take a look at the burn rate for WinClean 244. We can see here on Hodgdon's burn rate chart, position number 1, top left, is going to be your fastest powder. And then bottom right goes up to position number 176 is going to be your slowest powder, right? So in this first column, WinClean 244 falls kind of right in the middle of a lot of the powders that we have experience with here at Ultimate Reloader. Tight Group, Trail Boss, HP 38 and Win 231 are actually the same powder, just with different branding. Very close to WinClean 244. And what's interesting, I looked at an article that I did from 2011, quite a while ago, and one of the things that I remarked there was I had the same charge weight that I used with Win 231 for 9mm, 38 Special, 44 Special, and 45 ACP. I just kind of did it as a test. So that shows you how versatile powders are and can be in this sweet spot of the burn rate. And what Win 244 gives you is it gives you the WinClean copper fouling reduction agent, which is not in Win 231. So in that burn rate, if you're specifically looking for something with a copper fouling reduction aspect to it, I think WinClean 244 would definitely be something to look at. So if you've used HP 38 or Win 231, definitely give WinClean 244 a close look. So if we look at this WinClean 244 under the microscope, you can see what we're looking at here. The granules are pretty much flattened balls when you look at them up close, and they look like they're slightly smaller than the flattened ball granules from CFE pistol. And then if we look at Trail Boss, that's just a really big kind of flattened donut kind of shape. I thought I'd throw that in there just for variety. And then we have a rifle powder as well, a short stick powder, Varget. Definitely different characteristics. WinClean 244 is going to behave very similarly to other ball powders that you're using for pistol loads. So, in conclusion, WinClean burned clean. I noticed that there was very little smoke and the shell casings looked relatively clean. They're always going to have some carbon on them. But clean burning powder, definitely a very versatile powder. If you look on the Hodgdon website and you put in your pistol cartridge and you filter on the Winchester powders, you're likely to see 244 come up as one of the options. So it'd be interesting to hear from you all if you're using WinClean 244 for cartridges other than the ones that I mentioned in the video. I'd love to hear how that's working for you and what you're shooting. Also, again, ball powders are kind of my favorite for loading with progressives and specifically for pistols because of how consistently they meter. So at the end of the day, I could definitely recommend WinClean 244. And again, if you're looking for something in that kind of Winchester 231, HP 38 kind of burn rate range, that specific category, and you want a copper fouling reduction agent, definitely give it a look. And again, I'd like to hear your experiences, regardless of what you're shooting for cartridge with WinClean 244. I know I've enjoyed shooting it. It's shot really good for us, and it's likely to be a powder you're going to see here on the channel in the future. Thank you very much for watching. That concludes this video, and that means it's time to wrap it up. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you're watching Ultimate Reloader on TV and want to take advantage of free resources, exclusives, and hot deals, just hold your camera phone up to the QR code, tap on the link, fill out the information, boom, you're getting Ultimate Reloader emails. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, we're on Facebook, YouTube, Rumble, where we've got unrestricted content, and Instagram. Make sure to follow us on all those channels. Ultimate Reloader also has a commercial solutions division serving law enforcement, the military, and the gun industry. We have some unique capabilities, including a comprehensive suite of recoil testing and evaluation capabilities trigger profiling, and more. Thanks again for watching.